Enderal Forgotten Stories is a total conversion mod for Skyrim Special Edition. It offers an immersive open world, new skill systems, and a gameplay with dark psychological storyline and believable characters. The writing and quest design are the most crucial elements of any RPG, and Enderal excels here. The quests are outstanding, featuring a high degree of dynamism and numerous references to Wynn's extensive lore. This mini-series will cover and rate every quest, offering my usual critique, in-depth lore discussions, and a full showcase of each quest. The link to the playlist of this series is in the description, and if you want to understand more about our characters' build information, please watch the first episode. Let's get started, shall we? Alright, Coloris is in the Suncoast area and is entering the town of Riverville. As he enters the village, Silas in Riverville approaches him and asks for his help.
Hey, you there! Yes, you! Do you want to know a secret?
What do you mean?
Well, I found something really awesome, but I need help from somebody as tall and strong as you. How about it? I show you what I mean, and you promise to help me in return. What do you say?
Can you elaborate?
I'll show you in a moment, but first, you have to promise to help me. Come on, don't be a chicken.
Could it be dangerous?
Dangerous? I don't know. You wouldn't be as close to the village and to the guards then, would you? And I don't want Daddy and the others to find out about this. That would spoil the surprise.
Alright, I'll help you.
Awesome! I knew you'd say yes! Come, follow me!
That starts the quest Secrets from the Can.
Look, I found this yesterday when I was searching for shells. Awesome, isn't it?
Well, it's a chest.
Yes, and you know what? If you shake it, you can hear a rattling, as if there are coins in it. All we need to do is break it open, then we can split the loot, and I could give Daddy the money for the pointy beard man. So what do you think? I've already tried to open it, but it just won't budge.
Pointy Beard Man?
Yeah, that man from the big city who always comes after a moon turn. He wants money from the farmers. Daddy says he works for this Janker Boric or something like that.
Ah, so a landlord. So your dad owes him money?
Yeah, I think so. He always tries to make us think everything is okay, but I'm not stupid. And maybe there are enough pennies in this box for Daddy to pay the pointy beard man. Who knows?
Okay, let me try.
Sure.
Coloris tries using his lockpicks, but the box does not open. So he whacks it with a sword.
Oh, come on, what is that?
What is it?
There aren't any pennies, only these weird nails and a piece of paper. Here, take a look for yourself.
So a note contains a riddle. Day and night it stands there sublime, proud, full of power, giving blessings in times of need on our path until we die. Okay, so the note says it gives blessings, so it could be a shrine.
Maybe the writer is talking about the shrine, the one behind our house. Quickly, you should go take a look over there.
And there's a shrine right here outside Riverville. Coloris examines the shrine for some sort of hidden message. At the front, he lights his torch and finds an inscription that says, "At the beginning of the current was a big stone with a raised bleak tree in the west." And he makes an entry in his journal. So Coloris decides to look for a raised bleak tree. From Marek's farm at Riverville, he spots a bleak tree. He excitedly makes his way across the boulder-strewn landscape. At the tree, he spots some ruins to the left. As he approaches the ruins, he spots a gravestone and a strong box. Inside the box, he finds 100 Enderalian penny coins and a note. The note is written by one B. Leclerc, and it is implied that he hated his scheming daughter. Coloris then heads back to Silas. "You're right, I found a treasure."
What? Really? That's awesome! How much was it? I get one half, you get the other.
At this juncture, 3 paths are available. Provide Silas with half the coins, provide Silas with a third of the coins, and provide Silas with nothing. The selected outcome will impact the XP and influence Silas's disposition. Coloris gives half of the coins and Silas is overjoyed.
Oh, wow. This is so much. Man, you are awesome. Do you know that? Thanks a bunch. I really hope this is enough for the pointy beard man. Come by anytime if you want to talk, okay? You're a good person, and Mommy always says there are too few.
And that completes the quest. What begins as a simple favor turns into a charming clue-based treasure hunt full of discovery and light moral choice. Bypassing the hand-holding of map markers, the quest unfolds through poetic riddles that guides the player to a shrine and across the rugged terrain to concealed Pyrian ruins, where a humble treasure and an illuminating family note await discovery. It concludes with a meaningful decision on how much to share with Silas, affecting XP and his disposition. Secrets from the Cane shines as a short, delightful side quest that rewards exploration and player kindness. With its clever riddles, atmospheric locations, and gentle emotional payoff, it perfectly embodies Enderal's strength in small, memorable stories. Celeris goes on a walk outside Riverville along the Penny Road. So this conversation with a drunk Banvar starts the quest.
Hey, you there! Yes, you! Come over here, now! I need your help. It's urgent. My brother, Olvar, he's up the hill in that camp by the fire. But it's his turn to take watch, and I'm bloody freezing out here. Tell him to come here right now, else I will go back to Ark without him.
Banvar wants Celeris to go and find his brother Ulvar, who sits nearby, and tell him to go take his turn for the watch.
What do you want? Get lost. There's nothing for you to see here.
Your brother sent me. He says it's your turn to take watch.
Oh, does he now? Then listen up, pal. Since we've come here, that fat bastard has done nothing other than get plastered. Tell him that until he's sober, I won't move a finger width from this fire.
Ulvar is not ready to listen and asks Celeris to get lost. Back to Banvar. Ulvar says you are an idiot. You are to sober up, he won't come.
What, I'm drunk? Because this idiot made me wait out here for hours? If it weren't for him, we would be on our way back to Ark already. Tell him to move his fat ass over here right now.
Back to Ulvar. Banvar told me to move your fat arse.
Oh, did he now? Well then, you tell him that what he wants interests me as much as the colour of his fucking balls.
Back to Banvar. He's not budging.
What? Alright, that's it. Go and kick that bloody moron's ass. Give him a knuckle sandwich. Smack him in the gob. Spank the living shit. Ah, you know what I mean.
Banvar wants Celeris to beat up Ulvar. At this point, Celeris can either decline or accept. Let's document the choice where Celeris declines. You can do that yourself.
Too much of a coward for that, are you? Fine. Oh, just wait. You sodding son of a tur. I will show you who's boss.
The quest completes and he gets 230 XP. And now we document the option where Celeris accepts. Okay, on your responsibility.
Oh yes, on my responsibility.
The journal gets an update. Celeris should defeat Ulvar in combat and report to Banvar.
Oh yeah? Well, I'd love to see that.
I have done as you asked.
Good, that will teach him a lesson. Here, take this for your help. Now get lost, or I need to take a nap.
That completes this branch of the quest, and Coloris receives 230 XP, 2 pieces of leather, and 3 roasted rabbit's feet. Coloris gets involved in a humorous cycle of back and forth messages between the two brothers, each more stubborn and insulting than the last. The situation quickly escalates when Banwar asks you to beat some sense into Ulwar. Here the quest offers a clear moral fork: politely decline and walk away, or accept and pummel Ulwar into submission. Declining ends the quest cleanly with 230 XP, while siding with Banwar leads to a simple fight and a small reward of leather scraps and roasted rabbit's feet. Feud between brothers is a brief, light-hearted side quest that excels at capturing everyday NPC drama with humor and player choice. Though short and low stakes, it provides a fun breather filled with personality and consequence-free comedy. To start the quest at Riverville, Coloris talks to a guard about work.
Monsieur? Work, huh? If you know a thing or two about herbs and the healing arts, you should talk to the mayor. His companion has been sick for moons now. Poor Mathilda. I've never met a woman more generous than her. She doesn't deserve that.
Just sit on their asses and hope things settle themselves.
This starts the quest, The Voice from the Water. Something bad has happened to the wife of Riverville's mayor. Coloris decides to visit the mayor at his home.
You're not from Riverville, are you? What do you want?
I've heard your wife is sick.
Is that so? What does that have to do with yourself?
I might be able to help for a price.
Of course. And who are you? A Delgalar incarnate? Maybe you think you're smart trying to profit from my wife's misery. But guess what? You aren't the first quack to try this. You should be ashamed. Now be gone.
Look, I understand a bit or two about magic and I can help.
All right then. I suppose it can't get any worse than it already is. Come, let's go upstairs. Take a seat. Well then, let's keep this short. For 3 moons now, Matilda has been hearing voices. Sometimes during the day, sometimes at night. There is no pattern. According to what she told me when she was still lucid, the voices seem to come from the sea. And it's a mixture of pleading, screams, and weeping.
She's hallucinating.
Maybe so. Or maybe it is some kind of a ghost, or a magical anomaly. Only Malphus knows. Since the night she first heard the voices, however, her health has been worsening. At first she lost her appetite. Then she started vomiting. To make things even worse, she now has a fever that gets more dire by the minute. Father Vildus is clueless, and even the 2 apothecarius who quickly passed through the village said they don't know what's wrong with her. She has even stopped recognizing me lately, and talking to her has become impossible. I don't want to lie, stranger. I just don't know what to do anymore. If it keeps going like this, Matilda will not see the turn of the year.
Do you have an idea as to where this came from?
No, not in the least. You know, Matilda is such a good person. If it is a ghost that has possessed her, then it must be a cruel one who only wants to see her in pain. And if it's a disease, then Malphus shall be damned for making her suffer like this. I'm sorry. I should not have said that.
Do you have an idea where to start?
You. Maybe it helps if you were there for one of these Caesars. I don't feel comfortable about it, but if it could help, we have to give it a try. Just come back in a few hours' time. It hasn't been too long since she had the last one. Give me a moment with her until then, all right? My brother Melder will let you in once it's time.
Ah, hello. You're the visitor Dugar told me about, right? The Outlander?
Yes, we are ready.
Well, as ready as we can be. As Dugar probably told you, the seizures happen arbitrarily, but more often around this time. Come, follow me. While I do appreciate your endeavours, I'm a little sceptical as to what good it will do. Whatever is wrong with Matilda is not ordinary. But I suppose some chance is better than none, isn't it? You have a visitor, Dugar.
Thank you, Meldor. And thank you for not changing your mind. It could happen any minute now. Just take a seat and wait. And I warn you, this is not going to be pleasant. Oh, Matilda.
No, please. No.
And here we go.
You're coming. You're coming back. No, 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 please don't. There's no other way.
Pentas.
So? You mean you heard the voices? What are you? Some kind of medium?
It's hard to explain. Do you know Pentas?
Pentas? I don't know, but...
That was the fisherman, don't you remember? The one who collaborated with the brigands and was killed when he tried to resist the arrest.
Ah, yes, of course. And his companion drowned herself afterwards. Poor thing. But I don't understand. What, by the righteous path, does that have to do with Matilda's sickness?
We should follow this lead.
Something tells you this, I see. If the circumstances were any different, I would take you for a quack, trying to win my favor. But you seem honest, and I shouldn't leave anything untested. Meldor, where was that fisherman's house again?
I have a map.
Then give it to him.
Of course, brother.
If Pentas really has anything to do with this, you should take a look at his old house. It should be abandoned. And now excuse me, both of you. I need some time for myself.
Here, this is the map. His house isn't far from the village, but you should be careful nonetheless. I don't need to tell you that the animals have grown savage recently. This red madness, or whatever they call it.
The colorist then heads out and starts walking towards the home of Pentas. As he arrives at Pentas's house, he notices a woman in black kneeling by the door. As he approaches her, she walks over to some boxes and disappears. Kelleris finds the key on top of a box and enters the home.
I am sure, Nero, that's the problem. Otherwise I wouldn't say all this, would I? What should we do?
Nothing.
I beg your pardon?
I said nothing. Whatever Madame Fellowall's reasons were, it's her and this Meldor who have to answer to Malphas in the end, not us.
But
Pentas, if this Meldor doesn't have a problem sleeping with his brother's wife, then only the Black Guardian knows what he's willing to do to make sure no one ever finds out.
So after the first vision, Calderis learns that Matilda, the mayor's wife, and Meldor, the mayor's brother, had an affair and the fisherman Pentas saw them together.
And where did that suddenly come from?
today, when I prepared the catch, I don't know, it just came to me.
So you want us to name our child after an idea you had while disemboweling fish?
You make it sound so bad.
Do I?
Look, if you don't like it, we will find another one. It's still a while after all.
Pentas, I'm just mocking you. I like the name. I really do.
This is madness! Do you even listen to yourself?
What, do you think I enjoy this? Please, Pentas, don't make this any harder than it already is. Your chances are best if you cooperate.
Chances? In the best case, I will spend the rest of my life in jail. Whoever told you this rubbish is a bloody liar, damn it! And now you...
And now, I will count to 3. If you haven't dropped that knife by then, jail will be the least of your worries.
Oh, will it now? Because you'll kill me, right? Are you so blind, Jael? This guy, he's not from the guard. He's a damn sellsword.
1.
My sir, I think there's no need to.
2. Bad idea.
After 2 more visions, Calderis learns that Pentas' wife was pregnant. He also finds out about a confrontation between a mercenary, a city guard, and Pentas, which ended in a deadly way for the fisherman. Calderis is horrified by these visions and decides to head outside to get some air. He then spots the apparition of a woman in black again. The mysterious woman, who is Pentas' wife, points to a location on an island, and that is Glimmerdust Cave. Calderis immediately swims to the island looking for some clues. In front of the cave, he finds a note which appears to be written by Meldor. Confirming the agreement between him and a mercenary.
That was your last mistake.
After dealing with the mercenary, Calderis decides to approach Meldor.
Oh, hello. So, did you find anything?
So I learned that Pentas found out about your affair and you hired a mercenary to kill him.
What? This is ridiculous. Who do you think you are?
I have your letter. I know what you have done.
What? Oh, sod it. I never wanted anyone to get hurt. You have to believe me. The whole thing, it got out of hand.
Explain yourself.
Oh. Dugar, she never loved him. You know, the only reason they stayed companions was her path abidingness, and that a divorce would have shamed him before the villagers.
So bedding her was a solution then?
She started it, not I. I mean, yes, I gave into it, and yes, I love her, damn it. But, oh by Malthus, what did I get myself into?
So both of you decided to get rid of Pentas, right?
No, I mean, yes, I hired that sellsword, but he was only supposed to intimidate him, maybe make him move somewhere else, not kill him, for heck's sake. Please, my sir, you have to believe me. This sickness Matilda has, these voices, they are Malthus's punishment for what we both did to that poor man. She will never wake up again. I can feel it. And if you tell Dugar the truth about what happens now, you will accomplish nothing. Don't you see it? Nothing but break a man who has already been broken.
At this point, Caloris has two options. Either blackmail and extract money from Meldor to stay silent, or ensure Meldor is accountable by law. Let's document the first option. If you want me to keep silent, make it worthwhile.
Make it worthwhile? You mean you want money?
Of course I want money.
Good of course. If you give me that letter, I will pay you on the spot. Here, is this enough?
Here is the document.
Good. I'm glad you saw reason. I should go now. What the? No!
At this point, the apparition will appear from the sea and she explodes Meldor into a mess of blood and bones. The woman stares at Caloris with a mixture of anger and wrath and disappears. Back at the mayor's home, Caloris learns that Matilda is dead. Caloris can either lie or tell the truth about her affair.
I see. Thank you for your honesty. Now please, leave me.
A strong box contains some trinkets as reward, and that completes this branch of the quest. Now let's showcase the other branch. No, Meldor, you will account for what you have done.
What? No, you can't do that. Please, I'm horribly sorry, and I regret what I have done. What else do you want?
Because of you, people are dead.
No, forgive me, but I cannot do that. I will... What the? No, help me,
The woman stares at Caloris with a mixture of gratitude and grief and disappears. Back at the mayor's home, Caloris learns that Matilda's fever is gone.
A fever? It is gone. The fever is gone. She's still weak, but it's gone. Just like that. What happened? What did you find in that fisherman's house? And where is Meldor?
Caloris can either lie or tell the truth about her affair. Caloris decides to tell the truth.
What? By Malthus, I see. I suppose I should thank you, shouldn't I? At least now I know the truth. Now please, leave me.
And that completes this branch of the quest. What begins as a simple healing request evolves into a gripping supernatural mystery filled with visions, hidden affairs, and murder. Through eerie apparitions and investigative steps across Pentas' house and Glimmerdust Cave, Caloris uncovers a tragic story of betrayal, an affair between Matilda and the mayor's brother Meldor, that ended in the fisherman's Pentas's death. The quest builds to a tense confrontation with Meldor, offering a meaningful choice: blackmail him for silence or demand justice. In both paths, the vengeful ghost of Pentas's wife delivers brutal justice. Returning to the mayor, Caleres can choose to reveal the painful truth or soften it, closing the story with a modest reward. The Voice from Water is a standout atmospheric side quest that masterfully blends horror, moral dilemmas, and emotional weight. Its strong narrative, supernatural elements, and impactful choices make it one of the more memorable tales in the Riverville area. Alright guys, we have come to the end of this video. Wow, what incredible quests! In the second part, we meet interesting NPCs in Riverville town and experience quests with horror, betrayal, comedy, and joyful exploration. What a mix! What did you think about the quests we discussed today? Do share your thoughts in the comments and be sure to check out the next video. If you're still here, I appreciate you and thank you all for watching. May the Divine's guard and keep you.